What's up, my people? The Kenyan American home here, the Kenyan American TV. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And if this is the first time you're joining us, maze, welcome. Feel free. Alafu, hit that subscribe button. And then you'll become part of the Kenyan American home family. And you will not miss the information, man. That I keep cranking out, man. I keep cranking out. I'm super excited for the session today. I'm super excited because it's an opportunity that so many of you will get. It's an opportunity that so many of you will get, and it's an opportunity it being talked about so much. So I'm going to talk about the tuition-free, college-free programs, two programs that are happening in two different states that are happening starting the fall of 2024. So fall usually starts in September. So school when you're applying for school and you apply for the fall semester usually starts. Most of these programs are actually going to start in September of 2024, which is less than 1 year from now. And so actually one of the other programs starts in the summer of 2024, but I'll walk you through that. But the main program that I'm talking about is this scholarship program that Minnesota passed. Has passed. The name of the program is the North Star Promise Scholarship Program. Here, let me write that down so that you guys can see it. But it's the North Star Promise Scholarship program. And they started in Minnesota. It was passed in Minnesota. So yeah, that's the name of the program. It's the North Star Promise Scholarship Program. And it's beginning in the fall of 2024. So so the two states that have this program. So one of the states is North Dakota, which is the state I went to school. And it's actually, so in North Dakota, it's happening in one school, the school that I actually went to. My, is it what do you call alma mater? Yeah, so the school that I went to in the US, North Dakota State University. North Dakota State University is the only university in North Dakota that is starting their own free tuition and then the big one, the pioneer of the free college free college education is Minnesota. Minnesota is the one that started this, and they called it the North Star Scholarship Program. So the North Star Scholarship Program, it's a tuition and fee-free pathway to getting higher education. And this happens for Minnesota residents. But I'll tell you, because that you have to be a Minnesota resident. But Minnesota resident there's so many ways you can become a Minnesota resident. And what I'll do is, I think it's usually better for me to show while I speak. So I'll show you the program, walk you through the program, explain to you what it is. And so the reason why Minnesota started this is, one of the reasons is they wanted to help kind of stabilize enrollment in Minnesota public institutions of higher education, because college enrollment has been on a decline in the US. And in Minnesota, they had seen this trend, and what they did is they wanted to retain more people. They wanted to make it attractive for people who are already in Minnesota, them going to school, because Minnesota sometimes can get cold. And so what happens is, a lot of the students usually leave Minnesota and they go to other states that are maybe a bit warmer. Maybe they go to the south. And so what happens is, Minnesota is losing a lot of young, educated young people. And so what they did is they went on and started this program. So that's one of the reasons why they did, is so that they wanted to kind of stabilize enrollment in Minnesota colleges and universities. The other thing is Minnesota, because when you educate qualified young people, then you have a higher chance of retaining them. So instead of these young people going to other states getting educated in other states, and staying in those states, what Minnesota is doing is it's saying, okay, we're going to give you free school. And then what happens is the people, instead of leaving the state of Minnesota, the young qualified people, they end up staying. And in staying, it's good for the economy of Minnesota. So this is what they're banking on. They're banking on free school to be able to retain the people of the Minnesota residents, so that they don't go out. And then it's just the other thing is just to create a pathway for the people, the residents who did not have, people who never went to school, people who had given up on school because they didn't have the money, they didn't want to rack up student debts and student loans. It's giving them an opportunity to finally get a degree, So let me go ahead and share this with you, and I'll walk you through kind of some of the requirements for this program. And let me share this. But this is really amazing. And I think, probably some of you, this is the first time you're hearing about it. I did not even hear about this until I went digging for it. I did not hear about this until I went digging for it. Please tell no thanks. Okay. All right. So, so you can see this is from the Minnesota Office of Higher Education. It's your degree tuition free. Yeah, it's called the North Star Promise. Here, let me make myself smaller so that I can. All right, yeah. So it's really your degree tuition free. It's the North Star Promise Scholarship Program. So it's beginning in fall of 2024. Fall of 2024 is starting in September 2024. And it's free tuition. It's tuition and fee-free pathway to higher education for eligible Minnesota residents. All right. So what are Minnesota resident? Who is a Minnesota resident? Because that's a very good question. You come here and you're like, okay, what do I have to do to be a Minnesota resident? So this is what it means to be a Minnesota resident. Here, let me make my screen bigger. So for you to get the Minnesota resident status, to be eligible for this program, a student must meet one of the following criteria. Okay? All right. So you have to have graduated from a Minnesota high school while you lived in Minnesota. So you went to a Minnesota high school when you lived in Minnesota. Whether you live here, whether you live in Minnesota currently, or whether you moved out of the state, if you ever graduated from a Minnesota high school, you qualify. You qualify for this program. Okay? If you received a GED in Minnesota, GED is it helps you. It's for those people who are not able to go to high school, and they can do a GED. They can do a GED. If you did your GED in Minnesota, for at least while living in if you did your GED in Minnesota after living in the state for at least 1 year, then you qualify. Okay. If you are a student and you lived in Minnesota for at least 1 year for other than educational purposes. So if you went to Minnesota, if you lived in Minnesota as a student, other than no, I think I was thinking about the other one, but if the student lived in Minnesota for at least 1 year other than education purposes. All right. So if you're a student and you lived in Minnesota for other than attending school, then you would qualify to be a Minnesota resident. If you're a spouse or a dependent of the armed forces, if you're a spouse or a dependent, so if you're a spouse or a child of someone in the US armed forces, and you're stationed in Minnesota, then you qualify. You're stationed in Minnesota, then you qualify. This is somebody who is active. If you're a spouse or a dependent, so that means that if you're a child of or a dependent of a veteran, somebody who served in the military, and who the veteran is a Minnesota resident, then you you qualify for that. If you're an active member or a spouse or a dependent of the National Guard, so not just the military, but also the National Guard, and you live in Minnesota, then you qualify. If you relocated to Minnesota within 12 months of, but maybe you had a disaster, maybe in New Orleans, you had the disaster in New Orleans that was, was declared a presidential disaster area. If you moved to Minnesota within the 12 months of that, then you would qualify as a Minnesota resident. If you are a refugee and you immediately settled in Minnesota and have continued to live in Minnesota, then you do qualify. So, all my refugees, and I mean, I feel like this, you can argue this on if asylum refugee. I think there's something to be argued for that. There's something to be argued for that. Something to be argued for that. And then for dependent students, that means your parent has applied for, FAFSA is applying for, applying for government funding for education. If so if your parent is a resident of Minnesota, then you do qualify. Otherwise, for independent students, a dependent student is somebody who is living with their parent. An independent student is somebody who is there by, that you're by yourself, you're independent. So you moved to, you moved to Minnesota under a dependent as a dependent applicant, and you haven't moved away. So that means you were living with your parents, and then after your parents, you moved out of your parents, but you still live in Minnesota, then you do qualify. If you're married, then you do qualify. But then there's also this: if you are an undocumented student under the DREAM Act, if you're an undocumented student, that means if you are an undocumented student under the DREAM Act, you are also considered to be a Minnesota resident. This is where I was talking about asylum. This is where I was talking about asylum. So there is the deferred action for childhood arrivals. That means your parent came in to the U.S. Illegally. They are undocumented, and you were born in the U.S., then it's for the minors, deferred action for childhood arrivals. So if you came in as a minor into the U.S. with your parents, if you're born in the U.S., you become an automatic citizen. It's if you came into the U.S. and you're undocumented, and you came in as a minor, and you're granted the DACA, which is the deferred action for childhood arrivals. You do qualify. If you have the temporary protective status, that is, maybe you're involved in whether it's the T visa, the U visa, then you do qualify. Certain types of visas, or you have an asylum. So this is what I wanted to talk about, really, too, because I know a lot of people are here listening to me, and they moved here and they applied for asylum. So it says there, if you have asylum pending status, you will be eligible for state financial aid. So I wanted to point that out, because that's, when you talk about the Minnesota resident, there's a lot of things that are considered. And I wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. So you can see from what I shared that there's a long definition of what becoming a Minnesota resident is. And so it's not just, it's not straightforward that you live in Minnesota, you become a Minnesota resident. It's a long list that what I'll do is I'll share the link with you. after after the video is done, so that you can go look for yourself. So this can apply to so many people, and especially I know a lot of people who watch me are people who are that you're coming to you're either, if you're coming to the US and you're coming to the US with a and you all you have to do now is meet the Minnesota resident, is just go move into Minnesota and live there for at least a year, or that's the thing, is for you to qualify for this is to just move to Minnesota and live there for at least a year. Here, let me. All right, so that's that on the residency part. I don't know if there's any questions on the residency. You can see there's a long definition of what a Minnesota resident is, but that's one of the qualification, is you just meet the residency and then you qualify for the program. All right. Okie dokie. Let me go back to my main screen. Let me go back to my main screen. All right. So you do qualify if you're, all you just have to do is just meet the Minnesota resident. So you may just move to the US and move to Minnesota. Move to the US, move to the Minnesota, and then it's this free tuition is available at all the eligible institutions, and I'll show you all those institutions and which ones they are. Which I'll show you all the colleges and universities in Minnesota. So they are, the North Star Promise is making it. I had talked about this. They want to establish enrollment, an economic driver, a pathway for people who've never attended college to start to do that. And they're saying they estimate this program will impact between 15,000 to 20,000 students in their first academic year. So, it's getting free school. So what are the requirements? The requirements, one of them is the ones that we went through, is you have to be a Minnesota resident. So you meet that one of those qualifications, become a Minnesota resident, then that's that's it. And then after meeting the Minnesota resident, the other thing is there's an income threshold too. So if your family, or you have to make less than $80,000 a month. What they call the adjusted gross income is really, all the money you're making, whether it's you're an employee, you have a business, all that. If you add up all that money, it's less than 80,000 a year. You have to make less than 80,000 a year. All right. And then you have to attend a Minnesota public public college. Oh, I thought I was sharing, but I guess I'm not sharing. Sorry. Yeah, you have to attend a Minnesota, college or university, or a tribal college. There are also tribal colleges included. Then you cannot be in default, in default of any student or federal. You can't be somebody who already took out federal or state loans, student loans, and you haven't paid them. And you have to be at least enrolled in one credit. So be enrolled in at least one credit, and then just just do once you start to go to school, just make sure you're doing good in school. It's meet the satisfactory academic progress. That means pass your schooling when you start going. And this is only for people who don't have a bachelor's degree. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, this applies to you. It's giving you an opportunity to get your bachelor's degree free of charge. All right. And then, you have to be, so if you enroll in one of the schools, it has to be either to get a degree, a diploma, or a certificate. A degree is usually 4 years. A diploma is 2 years. A certificate is 1 year. So what are the eligible Minnesota institutions? All right. So let me see if there's any questions up to that point. Let me see if there's any questions up to that point. Hi, Lucy. Uh, Let me see. Let me see. Is it easy to get visa? Oh, some people are asking other questions. Uh, David Otieno, how can we qualify and yet we are in Africa? So obviously you cannot get the you cannot get this when you're still in Africa. You have to be here. You have to be here. So, find a way to get here fast. Find a way to get here fast, and then you can work on that. So this is available for people who are coming. You're coming in already. You have your green card. You're coming in for your DV lottery. You've married somebody. You're being brought here by your spouse. You're being brought here by your parent, or you're being brought here by your child. These are all these people who are coming into the US. Or you came into the US with a visitor visa and you applied for asylum. That is available to you. So this is it. When you talk about the range of people that it is available to, it's available to a lot of people. Available to a lot of people. If you came in as a refugee, it's available to you. So this is an amazing opportunity for, ultimately the goal is just get into the US, and then you can so yeah, David, to answer your question, you cannot get it when you're in Kenya. You cannot get it when you're in Africa. But once you get here, then uh, then this is an awesome opportunity, because you don't get this is one of the first of a kind. When you talk about getting like a full on scholarship to do your undergraduate, that is like, it's unheard of. Here, when you come to the US, especially when you're coming to do your bachelor's degree in the US, they're very expensive. It is part of the deterrent. People don't want to go to school because bachelor's degrees are very expensive. And when you talk about scholarships that you usually get for bachelor's degree, you get like 500 here, 1,000 there, very small monies, very small monies. That it's very small. But here they're telling you you're not going to pay any tuition, zero. You're not going to pay any fees. You're going to school for free and get your degree, get your diploma, get your certificate. That's like, this is amazing. And the only thing you have to do is, be here and then qualify to be a Minnesota resident. Yeah, qualify to be a Minnesota resident. But like it's for here. I don't wanna go on a rabbit trail here. I wanna make sure that I keep on track, because we also have another state too. The other state is a little bit more stricter. Uh, so yeah, and I walked you through, all those so many things. It's really being a Minnesota resident. So a lot of the requirements for you to be a resident of so many states in the US, you have to have lived there for at least 12 months. There's so many ways of proving there, you own property there, and so forth. And there's always, when you see these things on paper, a lot of times they're not like cut and dry. There's in the US, as long as you are able to argue your case, then you're good. In the US, as long as you're able to argue your case, oftentimes there are loopholes. There's so many times they tell you, oh, you have to do GMAT, you have to do GRE, you have to do all these so many things coming in as an international student. But I promise you, if you're able to give a reasonable reason why you should be exempted from that, they will take it. All you just have to do is argue your case. Yeah, argue your case. You can make your case and you say you qualify, and I'm pretty sure they'll look at this and they'll make an exception for you. It's the US. All you just have to do is ask. All you have to do is ask. So yeah, and this, I'm one of the reasons I'm saying this, because this is so good for people we have so many people who are already in the US, and they came in and they came in with a visitor visa, came in with whatever, J1, whatever, they applied for asylum. And they they cannot afford to go back to school. So they are stuck doing those jobs that don't require you to have an education. This is an awesome opportunity for so many people who are already, you know how many people we have, how many people from Africa we have that are living in the US, and they don't have a bachelor's degree, and they cannot go to school because they can't afford it. This is the awesome opportunity. This is an and the only thing you have to do is go live in Minnesota for a year. Yeah, go live in Minnesota for a year. That's for compromise. Yeah, for free school. That's amazing. Okay, all right. So these are the schools that, these are the eligible institutions. It's Minnesota State colleges and universities, all University of Minnesota campuses. So all tribal colleges. So the Fond du Lac Tribal Community College, the Leech Lake Tribal College, Red Lake Nation College, White Earth Tribal and Community College. An institution may offer programs that are not eligible for, blah, 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 blah. That's the AGI. So what are these institutions? What are these institutions? I One of the things I was excited about this is because of that particular thing that I read for you. If you applied for asylum and you're in the pending status, you can apply for financial aid. And this is a program that aids you financially. Yeah. All right. So what are those Minnesota? What are those Minnesota? Let me share this tab and walk you through. Okay. Wait. Watu wanatumia purchase your YouTube video. Why do you have to purchase my video? I I don't sell my YouTube video. My YouTube videos are free. Oh, YouTube videos are free. Unless you're talking about, like, I have some series that are in TikTok that I usually do, like extra research that I go do, like conferences. If you want conferences, uh, that will send you invitation letters. If you want to know what are the best months to go for your student visas, your visit visas, your J1 visas. I've done that research. Uh, I've done the research for Kenya. I'm halfway done for Tanzania. So Tanzania people, I'll upload that. Then maybe what I'll do is, I still haven't figured out the membership thing with YouTube. I can do that and put those kind of special videos that I've done, ways like, if you want to qualify for this free tuition, you obviously need to have a high school certificate. And what if you don't have a high school certificate? Then there's another route that you can take, that I have done a series walking you through. What do you do? And you can do the exams. It's an international certificate that gives you a high school diploma, high school certificate, that you can study by yourself online. And also, after studying for yourself, you go and do an exam in any of the test centers in whatever they are. The test centers are all over Kenya, Africa, they're in the Gulf, they're in Europe. Their test centers are everywhere. After you do those exams, you get your certificate. With your certificate, you can enroll in one of the universities or colleges. Do, 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 do. So I haven't Mpesa, using Mpesa, it's too much work, man. Too much work. Too much work. All right. So let me share what Minnesota colleges. I don't know if might not be able to wait. All right. This thing might not be it might not be like as extending as much as I. Oh man, I went the other way. Okay, let me. So yeah, just just for summary, there are 20. Whoa, this thing is doing the thing. I don't know what it's doing. There's 26 colleges and 7 universities in Minnesota. 26 colleges and 7 universities in Minnesota that qualify. So, all these colleges qualify, like Minnesota North College in International Falls, Northland Community and Technical College in Thief River, North, Northland Community and Technical in East Grand Forks, MSU, Minnesota State University in Moorhead, Minnesota State and Community Technical Colleges, Minnesota State. So this also involves, if you wanna do something like plumbing, if you wanna do something like you become an electrician, if you wanna do any of the trades, this program also applies to you. It's not just what do you call it? It's not just going to the university to get a degree. Uh, it can also apply for trades and skills. So if you want to do a carpentry, you want to become uh, whatever whatever blue collar job profession you want to go into, they offer that. And you can go to any of the technical or vocational colleges. So those ones are also included in this program, which is awesome. All right, so let's continue. So yeah, Minnesota State Community and Technical College, Minnesota North College, uh, and there's a lot of locations for those. Then that's the Fondue Lac Tribal College, Pine Technical and Community College, Central Lake, Central Lakes College, Minnesota State Community, Alexandria Technical and Community College in Alexandria, St. Cloud University, Anoka Ramsey Community College, Ridgewater College, Minnesota West Community College, Minnesota State College Southeast, South Central College, Minnesota University, Rochester Community and Technical College, Riverland Community College, Riverland, Minnesota West Community and Technical College, Minnesota State University in Mankato, Minnesota West Community and Technical College, Minnesota State University in Marshall, and Ridgewater College. So there are uh, Century College, Metropolitan State, St. Paul College, Community College, Dakota County Technical College, Hennepin Technical College, Minneapolis College, Anoka Technical College. So so in total there are 26 colleges, universities, and in total there are 54 campuses throughout the state. 54 campuses throughout the states. So that is Minnesota. That's the Minnesota program. Uh, it's the Minnesota program. And let me share this. Yeah, so the application process is you complete the free application for federal student aid, FAFSA, or the Minnesota Dream Act application, and then there's no other application beyond FAFSA, no other application. Yep. So then the school that you apply to will and award the North Star Promise Scholarship to all eligible students. Yep. And then I have the website, and I'll share the website where you can access FAFSA or the Minnesota Dream Act. And that's That's the North Star Promise Award. How much money can you receive? As much as possible. There's no limit. It's 100% of the amount. If you have any scholarships, they'll take out the scholarships and then pay the rest. Pay the rest. Pay the rest. Yep. And so the college you apply, the amount based on your eligibility. As long as you're eligible, they'll give you the loan. How are students notified? They'll notify you through the school. Yep, notify you through the school. Is the scholarship renewable? So they say as a last dollar scholarship. This award is calculated on a term by term basis. So, yep. So yeah, but it's for your school, for your school, for your school, for your school. So if you're doing 4 years, if you're doing 2 years, 4 years. So there you go. There you go. The North Star Promise. It's the North Star Promise. And your degree tuition free. And your degree tuition free. That's amazing. I feel like this is amazing news for a lot of people who have no idea. This is awesome news to get your degree without paying a single cent. And you don't have to, it's the qualifications are not like, they're not telling you to write when you hey, let me tell you something. For those who do not know, getting a scholarship is not easy because you have to convince the people who are giving the scholarships to give you the scholarship. You have to write a thesis. This one, there's no thesis. This one, you just need to be a Minnesota resident. That's it. And not make too much money. Not make too much money. Which, I don't believe so many people who are starting life, if you don't have a degree, then it becomes easy to 80,000 if you don't have a degree. Sometimes it's a lot, yeah. Because a lot of times, if you don't have a degree, then the jobs that you qualify for, not so many people get paid, beyond the 80,000. So that's it's a very reasonable threshold. Reasonable threshold. Yep, 80,000 per year. 80,000 per year. Ah, yeah. Volume. Wait, you can't hear me? Can you hear me? You can't hear me. All right. So Moses Otieno, meaning today's live will basically for people who are already in the US. My friend, if you're coming here, that if you are in my channel, that means you're looking to move here. That is specifically the reason I'm giving it to you. If you think this is not important information, then my friend, you're not connecting the dots. You should, don't think short term, my friend. Think long term. Think long term. Hey, unless you don't see yourself here, then you're not part of the family, my friend. Because me, I tell you, the guys are, hey, you will come by fire, by force. I'm just eyes and look ahead. Look ahead. Look ahead. You could win DV 2025. You could, if you play DV 2025, you could win. If you win, where will you be? By 2025 September, where will you be? Say United States of America. What if you don't have a degree? Yeah, you don't have a degree. The only thing is you're coming with a DV lottery is you're coming with a certificate. Your eyes, man, to see. Don't just look. Don't think now. If you're just thinking now, man, it's a very narrow-minded way to think. If you're thinking now, think about the future. What if you come here? Hey, because it's just think in terms of that. This is it gives you an awesome boost. That hey, I can attend school and come out debt free. It's awesome to I got a full scholarship for my master. It's easier to get a scholarship for your masters than it is for your undergraduate. Undergraduate, unless maybe you're playing one of those big sports, like you're playing, American football, they don't even give a lot of scholarships to soccer students. Basketball, big, big programs are the ones that often offer students free tuition. So, all right. Let me see. Trying to see. You think, oh, Oscar, all right. You think there's a way I can go over with my B1 and enroll and apply for this program? Oscar, see now, when you start opening your eyes and thinking that way, then you start, yeah. So you come in with your B1 visa. Because a lot of people do that. And then maybe there's something happening back home. Let's say, for example, you apply for asylum. If you apply for asylum, that means if you're on pending status, it said there in the Minnesota Dream Act, if you applied for asylum and you're in pending status, you are eligible for financial aid. What does that mean? That means you can apply for this program. It's kind of picking up so those small things. Sometimes if you look and you think ahead and think big picture, it'll help you see that. It'll help you see that. Help you see that. Uh, all right, all right. Yeah, Maximilian is it's that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to open your eyes. Please don't think narrow-minded. Think big, man. You're already here. However way you found, you came with a J1, you came with a P visa, you came with an R visa, you came with an O, Q, K, whatever visa you came in with, but you are in the US. This is an awesome opportunity for anybody. It has never been there. This is the first time they're enrolling it. The US has never been known for tuition free. It's the first time, and Minnesota is the one that is doing that. So I think it's really awesome opportunity. It's an awesome opportunity for anybody to be able to go to school and not pay anything, not pay anything. Because one of the good things is you don't have to, and a lot of people here, and I'm really speaking about my people, a lot of people talk about Seattle, people in Seattle, Texas, Seattle, Oregon, a lot of people there, they came in with a B1. They did this. They went under. They are undocumented. This is a program for you. Documented, and what you do is you work like you are just working 3 jobs. Some people working 120 hours. You know why people would work 120 hours a week? It's almost slavery to do that. But the reason somebody would work 120, they really want to. The reason why somebody would work 120 hours is because whatever they get paid, it's little. And so they for it to be able to meet their needs, here in the US, help people back home, invest. So that's why people work. People don't work because they really want. Nobody wants to work that much. You tell somebody, I'm going to double whatever you make. People will work less. It's working smart. But no, because you come here, you are undocumented, you went out of status. Oftentimes, you will very many programs that will help you qualify for free education. No, many. And this is one of them that actually says if you are one of those people and you're undocumented, there's a chance for you. So this is really awesome. And I just open your eyes. If I think for me, I like to think so far ahead of time. So don't just think I'm in Kenya, this does not apply to me. I'm in Tanzania, this does not apply to me. I'm in here, this does not apply to me. No. Think, okay, so if I get there, there is this boat that can help me get there. Because as soon as you get a bachelor's degree, you graduate with a bachelor's degree, the pay that you used to get with your just high school, it goes, you get a huge bump automatically. Get a huge bump. That means more money, more money per hour, more money salaried, less work hours for you. Less work hours for you. You don't have to work as much to be able to meet your needs. Meet your needs. No, I know, Moses, and I was answering in a good way. I was answering in a good way. I was trying to. You were asking a lot. I think you were asking a good question that so many people probably were thinking in their minds. I was trying to do that. All right, let's move on to the next one. Any questions on Minnesota, by the way, before we? Any question on Minnesota before we move to the next school, next state, the neighbor. So Minnesota started this, and then North Dakota realized, oh, Minnesota is going to get all these students, people coming to Minnesota. Let's start our own program. So as soon as Minnesota started this, North Dakota picked up. And I feel like if it's super successful in Minnesota, maybe it's going to send a chain reaction for other states to do the same. Other states to do the same. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Yeah, no, the video will be saved. This video, as soon as I'm done, it will be in my lives. It will be in my lives. It will be in my lives. All right. Let's move to the next state. The next state is North Dakota. North Dakota. North Dakota. And this is the school that I actually went to. This is my school that I went to. North Dakota, and yeah, so this is my school. This is where I went. This is how I came to the US. As I attended. Ooh, what happened? I attended the North Dakota State University. North Dakota State University. So for North Dakota, this program looks different. So they started this after Minnesota passed their program, the North Star Promise program, and so North Dakota State started this. So this is not in all. This is only in North Dakota State University, only in North Dakota State University. Yeah. And then so it talks about the university. So this is going to start. It's during the 2024-2025 academic year. So if you're Pell eligible, that means you qualify for financial aid, and you are a North Dakota or a Minnesota student, and your income level is 80,000 or less. You see, they're trying to mirror what Minnesota was doing, and you make 80,000 or less. They're telling you they will cover you for 2 years. They will cover your tuition and fees for 2 years if you're in your first year at NDSU. So you're saying that students returning in their second year will also be considered for this program for 1 year. So they're basically saying that they're going to pay for 2 years for you. 2 years for you. All right, how it works, this is the scholarship. Oh, by the way, they call it what's the name of this scholarship? SU Tuition Award Program. Tuition Award Program. Tuition Award Program. All right. So yeah, and they're telling you how it works. It's intended to provide financial support for eligible students by covering the base, tuition and fees. That this is obviously, if you get any grants, they'll take out the grants, take out the other scholarships, whatever is remaining. So you pretty much don't have to pay anything. So you have to be a student, from an eligible student from North Dakota, and enroll full-time in the fall semester. Enroll full-time. So, you receive, just giving an example, that if your total school is 5,528 and you receive 2,500 in grants, 1,500 in scholarships, it'll give you the rest. But otherwise, they'll cover. They'll cover for your. If you don't get any of that, they'll cover your tuition and fees. They say they'll cover the base tuition and fees. Eligibility, it's you must be a North Dakota or Minnesota resident. Yeah, so they have what's called the reciprocity agreement, which means Minnesota and you live in North Dakota, you don't have to pay Minnesota taxes. If you work in North Dakota and you live in Minnesota, you don't have to pay North Dakota taxes. Yeah, so that be a resident of North Dakota or Minnesota, you have to be a new first year or transfer degree seeking student beginning summer. So this program is actually beginning summer or fall. So summer or fall, or are returning. So remember, returning, they only pay for 1 year, but otherwise they pay for 2 years. All right, and then they talk about the 80,000. You have to make 80,000 or less, being enrolled in a full-time, being good standing. It's you're pursuing your first bachelor's degree, and you're not in default. You're not in default of any student loans. So this one is different here because this one they make it so it's a little bit stricter because they're telling you have to be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident for you to get the North Dakota one. For you to get the North Dakota process, apply for the school, and complete the FAFSA. Complete the FAFSA, and that's that. Okay, so North Dakota State University is the only state in North Dakota that's offering the scholarships. But Minnesota is the way to go. There you have this. I feel like this is, and it just, I don't know. The right people are probably not hearing this information, and this is so unfortunate because this somebody who has always get a degree and they are in America, and they, because they know school is expensive, man. That's why people don't just. So I feel like this is really awesome news. So please share. If you have relatives, people who moved, especially all those people who moved here a long time ago, and they're still stuck doing like the unskilled jobs that pay them close to minimum wage. Have to work 3-4 jobs. Some people work 6 jobs to be able to meet to break even. Some people work 6 jobs. I mean, people work hard in America, especially immigrants, man, because there's people waiting for you back home. They need money. You need money to survive, and then you're getting paid minimum wage. So what do you have to do? You take on 5-6 jobs. People are exhausted. They call it the American dream, but sometimes the American dream can be very exhausting, especially if you don't have something like an education. You know what an education does is an education helps you. Okay, you went to school, you get paid very close. A lot of times when you take on this unskilled jobs, you get paid very close to minimum wage. Minimum wage is not. It's you. That's why you have to work those so many jobs for you to be able to afford to break even. But you get an education, it helps you get better pay. If for anything, better pay, and then that means you can reduce the number of hours, and you can at least have time with family. You can have time for yourself. Some people never. And when I came across this opportunity for free school, I thought about all my Kemboi people. All these Kemboi people, all the Kemboi people who are hiding. There's so many people, our people, your relatives, your spouses, your kids. They have to, they have to do all those those unskilled under the table jobs. The good thing about this is once you get an education, it gives rise to so many other things. You can get a work visa after like the H1B. You qualify for the H1B only if you have a bachelor's degree. But then you get an education. It gives you an opportunity to get higher education, but also work your way towards getting your papers legally. So if you don't have your papers, that is. But if you already have your papers, it helps you to go to school, get a free degree, and that's a win-win for everybody. That's a win-win for everybody. So please share, please share, please share. All right. Any more questions? Otherwise, I can answer some random questions. Man, I was excited. I'm excited. I know this is going to benefit so many people. Please share this info. It's free. This info is free. I'm giving it to you free of charge. I'm not charging anything, but I'm excited. And if you're not excited and you're there, my friend, I'm telling you, be excited. Because, like I told you, what if you win DV 2025? What if you win DV 2025 and the only requirement for DV lottery is a high school degree? You don't have a degree. The only thing you did is high school. You don't even have that high school certificate or degree. Eh? It's work experience. And then you come here. They're giving you an opportunity. Oh, you didn't finish high school? Okay. But so you are in the trades. You have a trade. Okay. You can use that trade. You can advance. Man, I'm excited. You come here. You don't have a degree. You don't have education from Kenya, from Africa. Come here. Do a trade. Trades pay good, especially when you grow your way into maybe starting your own business. So, mechanics, electricians, plumbers, name them, HVAC technicians. Opportunity to go study free of charge. Free of charge. Free. I'm pretty sure, I don't know about but yeah, like heavy equipment operators. I know I've often gotten, so many messages from heavy equipment operators. My guy, my guy. You should, because if this is successful, this will open the door for free school in America, which is amazing. It will be amazing. Might not happen, but at least Minnesota is making it happen. North Dakota State University is making it happen. Is making it happen. Aya, 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 aya. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions, my people? Any questions? Oscar, Buddha. Anyway, I can apply to North Dakota and several in Minnesota. Yeah, FAFSA inakubalisha kweli. So it's like with the Minnesota program. With the Minnesota program, you like the Minnesota Dream Act. They passed on that act to be able to take care of any undocumented people in the US. Undocumented people are people under the water. So that is the good thing about Minnesota. They have the Minnesota Dream Act. So it's taking care of the people who are legal, but also the people who are undocumented, which is good, which is good, which is good, which is good. I would think if you're here and you're undocumented, at least you've tried to find ways to be able to change your status, and you're not just like that. So if you've taken any of those steps. Maybe you're running away from you know wars in your home countries and stuff. Maybe you filed, so you've probably maybe filed for an asylum petition. Yeah. Then those, this is awesome. This is awesome. Um, no, you can, because either way, each of them you will work out for you. Each of them will work out for you. You just have to explain your case. You just have to explain your case. Explain your case. Moses is saying that, hey, from now, in case we win DV lottery, we will definitely look for hosts in Minnesota, just to be close to the opportunity. Yeah, it's one way to get more people to Minnesota. Eh, mix up Minnesota so that it's not just a lot of Kissis and Somalis. Hey, Somalis are doing good in Minnesota, Bana. Hey, Somalis are doing good. They're politicians, they're senators, and doing great, man. The Somali community in Minnesota, man. Hey, yeah. Somalis are doing good in Minnesota. Yeah. There's it's Minnesota favors. It favors the immigrant community. Immigrant community. Yeah. Somalis are doing so good, so good, so good in Minnesota. Minnesota. All right. Any more questions, my people? Any more questions? How can I apply for universities without official documents? How can I apply? So it depends. It depends. If you depends. Depends on where you are. If you're outside the country, you apply for school here, they'll give you an I-20 for international people. If you're in the US, there's different ways of doing it. Different ways of doing it. Yeah. But also, what do you mean by official documents? SDA, mara here. I have a feeling that there's gonna be a lot of people moving to Minnesota. Uh, oh, Mike Ian is saying, I am checking out some schools and they all offer online classes, degrees I'm interested in. Can I apply for another on-campus course and then change it and pick it up? Yeah. You can apply for on campus. You get here, and take it online. Take it online. But there might be I think depending on the school. Some schools tell you that you maybe at least Tishbit. I would suggest us that we contribute 200 each month to support upcoming DV winners. Like a bank account, man. That's ooh. And I'm always afraid of uh, our people when it comes to public monies. Yeah, people in public monies, man. I always see drama. I always see drama with public monies. Accountability and business registration. Have the business get me papers. Oh, there's a few ways you can do that. Few ways you can do that. Yes, you can do that, but you don't have to have papers, by the way, to register a business in the US. I think I've done a while ago. Maybe I'll probably do another one to show people how to register. How to register. Ah, yeah, but also I'm because the Bank Act here in the US, you don't want to be misconstrued for laundering money. Uh yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But we can also, we can always jump in and help people. Like, you come in. I'm always open to people who've, you've won and maybe you're struggling with that. Come give us your story, and then we'll ask people to help you and all that. But that's a bit good idea. Maybe, yeah, we'll see how we can do it. Registration either Delaware, but operating, yeah, you can register in Delaware or any other. There's so many states that don't have taxes. Some good states to establish businesses, but yeah, obviously Delaware is where most companies are registered. All right, my people, are we good? Tukopoa? Tukopoa? Man, share this video, man. Share this video with your long lost relatives. Hey, this could be your way to connecting with them, especially if you have a relative that has never come back home. You wanted to establish those you want to open up those, just give them this awesome opportunity. It could be your way into getting a host, or could be your way into getting something. Yeah, could be a way. We good. All right, man. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Really do appreciate you. Really do appreciate you. Again, I have a list of topics. A host list of topics. E3. I haven't done. Even when I look at my thing, I look at my bookmarks. I see when I look at my bookmarks, I see seasonal jobs. It's a way to bring people to the US with seasonal jobs. I see that. And I really, yeah, I need temporary jobs, agricultural jobs, because there's a lot of them, unskilled. I haven't done EB3 too. There's a lot of visas I haven't done. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully ah, we'll get them covered though. We'll get them covered though. Exciting, 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 exciting. Otherwise, what wangu? Shukran, shukran. If you're looking, yeah, if you go to my TikTok channel, by the way, I haven't unskilled job. Yeah, that's the HB2A, but there's also HB2B. But HB2B, Kenya is not qualified. East Africa is not qualified, I think. But H2A is a work visa, temporary work visa to come here do agricultural jobs. I'll cover that. Maybe I'll see what I can prioritize. But I also wanted to do the visa for entertainers, comedians. Try and bring somebody, or somebody who came in here with races. That means you came as an athlete, came to run with your P visa. All right, I watu wangu. Seasonal jobs there's a lot of them, man. There's a lot of them, and they don't pay bad. They don't pay bad, man. So you come here, do jobs a couple, 3 months, and then go back home. Some people do that. They do that. They do that. Do your job, and then go vacation for the rest of the year. Come, make money, go vacation. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. All right. Abigail. Oh, Abigail, you're just coming in. You're just coming in when we're just ending. We're just ending, Abigail. People, thank you for letting me speak in English today. We'll go back to a regular programming, because man, yeah, sometimes I get tired of speaking in English, man. I love my Swahili. Love my Swahili, man, and speaking in Shang. I speak too much English. You missed a lot. You missed a lot, but the video will be saved. Yeah. All right. So yeah, you can rewatch it again, end it here. But otherwise, man, thank you, my people. Thank you for the love, the support. If you haven't subscribed, man, please go ahead and and you'll get connected. You get connected. I try as much as possible. Go digging, give you good information that is, super helpful. You can, take it, run with it, but also, super excited. Man, excited for peace, for getting your F1. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations. Hit me up, hit me up, hit me up. And when you land here, let's plan. Let's plan on doing it. You know what I'm excited is the number of people who through the Kenyan American home, they've gotten their visas. I'm excited, man, to sit with you guys and have those interviews. Sit with you and have those interviews. I think it's super exciting, that we see each other through the screen, and then the next time we'll be on the same continent, same country, and yeah, but also me traveling, getting to meet all this, all you people. We can actually do a live in person, be like, hey, this is. I used to see your comments come through because I see that, man. I see all your comments rolling, and I know there's the usual suspects, people that I I English. No, I know, but sometimes I think this was really good information, and I wanted to include everybody. So that's why I did it in English that way for people who people can not just Kenyans, East Africans, but anybody else can benefit. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. That's awesome, Oscar. That's awesome, Oscar. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's not a tough process to register a business, by the way. It's very easy. Very easy. You can even do it in the comfort of your home with your laptop. Yeah, one of these days I'll walk you guys through that. Walk you guys through that. Yeah. Watu wangu, thank you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Until next, stay blessed. Stay blessed, man. I'm looking for your testimonies. Looking for your testimonies, man. And God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Until next time, man. See ya. See ya. See y'all. See y'all. See y'all.